Many more huge details coming out in the Karrion Kross WWE bizarre situation from the horse's mouth himself, Karrion Kross, in a huge interview with Ariel Helwani. Also, Shayna Baszler opening up on her WWE release. We'll talk all of that coming up. And I want to jump right into it. Before I do, AEW Dynamite, I cannot give you my proper thoughts on that show. I did not see the show in its totality. I have heard that Cope and Cage have reunited. I'm not sure that was the venue that I would have had that reunion, but I'm hoping it went off good. I'm hoping that there was detail in it. I'm hoping there was a lot of emotion. I have yet to see it. If you guys saw Dynamite last night, let me know your thoughts on it. And I also heard that MJF in advance has cashed in his casino contract, I believe for Forbidden Door against Hangman Adam Page for that championship. I guess the storyline that played out is Hangman kind of goaded him in to laying down that contract in advance. So in a moment of disarray, the opposite of clear thinking, MJF let Hangman get the best of him and said, "You're on. I'm cashing in." I would never let that scenario play out. That's the whole reason and purpose for the cash-in. It's huge for the wrestler cashing in, yes, but for the fans, because that's going to be a massive pop, a massive moment. It's usually electric. And for that moment, at least for that moment, whoever's cashing in, face or heel, for that moment, they become a massive babyface. So maybe they didn't want Hangman, whoever's defeating Hangman for that championship, or if there is indeed a cash-in, they didn't want the whole crowd cheering for the dude that just defeated Hangman. They didn't want to put Hangman in that light, and maybe they didn't want to put MJF in that light. Everybody cheering for MJF because it's clear MJF does not work as a babyface. He's the opposite. The dude calls himself the devil, the scumbag, and who knows what else. Probably doesn't make for the best babyface. He's a natural born heel. So maybe there's reasons for it, but then you have to think, was this well thought out then? You could have a million different ways to set up Hangman and MJF in a regular matchup for the title. It feels like this whole casino contract going over to MJF has been meaningless. It's like when Otis won the briefcase, and he never even got the opportunity. It went to The Miz, and The Miz ended up failing anyway. So what was the purpose? But that's what I heard happened. I don't know. I got to view it myself, and then I can give you my proper thoughts on it. Also, Will Ospreay. I heard Ospreay return last night. So I got to see that as well. Who did he help out? Was it Darby? Maybe it was Darby. I know Darby was put in the old school Undertaker body bag and taking bumps from Cesaro. Claudio Castagnoli. I heard that as well. That's pretty funny. Leave it to Darby Allin to take bumps like that, man. You got to really trust who you're working with. If you're going to have Claudio spinning you round and around and dropping you on the dome piece. So that's the deal, guys. I did not watch Dynamite yet. I was unable to, but I heard a lot. I always keep up. So those are my initial thoughts. Hopefully I can catch most of it within the next day or two. NXT's rating is in, by the way. They pulled 728. That is down from 740. Again, NXT has went down to 728, still above 7. So, listen, it's been a rough several months, and even since debut of CW, really. It's been rough. But their last stretch on USA Network was rough. So if you're over 7 right now, you just take it. You run, you don't look back like you just robbed the bank. But what that does tell BC is usually that means that AEW is probably going to be down as well from last week's number. I believe they were around 7 some odd as well, not including Max. So more than likely AEW is going to take a hit. I don't have that number yet, guys. It's pretty early right now as of this recording, so I don't have AEW Dynamite's number. You guys will find that out. Feel free to Post down below, obviously. So AEW Dynamite, we're still looking for that number. It's most likely going to be down from last week, if NXT is any indication. All right, let's jump right into it, man. We'll get to Shayna Baszler. She's opening up about her release. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And I want to start with Karrion Kross. A lot of details coming out in this Helwani interview. Really good interview, man. So Karrion, let's start right from the jump with the big one, right? Karrion saying that WWE rescinded the contract offer in 24 hours because Kross wanted details. Could you imagine? What a concept. Kross wanted some details before he signs the next several years of his career, before he signs off on it. I just want details. How did you come up with that number? Just so I know. Because I'm getting a pretty good following right now. And I have to know X, Y, and Z. I have to know that there's room for even more money or merchandise numbers. Because remember what Kross said. He just wanted to know what his merchandise numbers were looking like. Because he had heard that he had cracked the top 10 and even top 5 for a moment in time. So he was just curious, like, what are the numbers? Can I get kickback on it? Most likely, right? That's what he's thinking. And do you know what WWE told him? We don't know. We can't tell you. Sorry, what? Kross is bringing in all this extra revenue. Kross is creating all this buzz organically, and you don't have any numbers. And then when you come to him with a contract extension to re-sign, you come up with some number in left field with a hockey stick, and when the guy just says, how did we come to that conclusion? Your answer yet again is, I don't know. Just take it. So Kross didn't even have 24 hours. He's asking questions. He's like, can you ask people that do know how we got to that number and get back to me? They never got back to him. So the next day when he got back to them, they told him they already took the contract offer back. They probably got pissed off because Karrion Kross wanted to know, how did you come up with the number? Because everybody else in that company is so scared shitless to ask any questions. Petty Paul Levesque McMahon might fire them, release them, keep them in catering till the contract is up and not re-sign them. There's all the tricks of the trade that World Wrestling Entertainment can use. Everybody walks on eggshells. They may say they don't anymore because Vince is gone. But trust me when I say, oh, they still are. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And Doofus' son-in-law is in lockstep with Kennedy McMahon. And you know that because they do business the same exact way. And if you need more evidence of that, check this out. Karrion Kross went on to tell Ariel he has not spoken directly to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, at least about this, which is a pretty big deal. I mean, this involves Karrion staying with the company. And he has not spoken to Helmsley since January. They walked the corridors together. Remember, Helmsley is giving all the Papa H speeches? To everybody that's a Papa H guy, right? Everybody that's going to look at him with puppy eyes and take in all the BS that he's spewing. That's why mostly you see him giving all these lectures to the ladies. Because the ladies are all looking up to him like, yes, Hunter. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you so much, Mr. Helmsley. And then randomly, you'll get a Jey Uso that'll look at him and thank him so much for giving him the rocket. And then you got guys like LA Knight and Ron Killings, R-Truth, Karrion Kross. They're past that. What do they all have in common? They're all above 40. So they don't need Papa H speeches. They know what to do. They're over with the crowd. But they all have one thing in common. They're not produced by Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So, When asked why not go directly to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Karrion Kross is like, first of all, we haven't even spoke about since January. And when asked why not try and speak directly with Helmsley, Kross said they only go through a middleman. And he doesn't know why Helmsley won't reach out. And I quote, he said, "I don't know why we just don't do business like they used to." The first go around, Helmsley said, "Hey, you guys want to come back?" That's when Helmsley was bringing a bunch of people back that Vince and WWE had released previous. So I told you what that was. That was to give the optics that Helmsley is definitely fully in charge now. So if you guys remember, everybody was coming back. Some random people too, like AOP. You guys remember them? He was just bringing everybody back that Vince released, but he had nothing for them. A lot of the people coming back weren't even Helmsley guys per se. But that perception was key. The perception that Helmsley is now fully in charge and everybody can come back. But Karrion Kross said a bunch of times in this aerial interview, I don't want to play the game. He said that many times. I'm not here to play games. I don't want to play the game. This isn't a game. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. But he's not there to play the Paul Levesque McMahon game. He's not going to look at Hunter Hearst Helmsley with puppy eyes and take in all the BS and have this wooden bowl and wooden spoon ready to say, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" So Kross says he can't speak to Helmsley. This is a very serious thing. Helmsley's role is chief of creative and content and talent relation. He covers all of that. He takes a little bit of John Laurinaitis, a little bit of Jim Ross, a lot of what Vince would do. He has his hands in all the cookie jars. So this is a pretty big deal, man. One of your talents that's organically getting massively over is about to leave the company. You may want to, talk to your fucking talent. Maybe. That's what BC would do, right? If this is my talent, this is becoming an ordeal, and I might lose the guy. Because remember, Helmsley cares for all of his talent. Remember, that's what we were told? He cares for them all. Basically, remember last year for the holidays, they got a lot of time off. They were filming 2 episodes in one Raw. 2 SmackDowns in one night. So that the talent and the crew can have holidays off. Do you know what that was? That was to make money. Or should I say to save money? They were right back on a massive tour immediately. On Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, talent and crew was flying out for preparation for their tours. They were saving money. That's what this is. TKO said, okay, we got to cut revenues around here. The holidays are the time to do it. Think these wrestlers and crew members were chilling out at Christmas with their families? No. So Karrion Kross says, I don't know why we're not doing business like we once did. Now he can't even talk to Helmsley. Hasn't talked to him since January. This whole thing, Karrion is not with WWE right now. And would you believe it if Karrion told you he hasn't even talked to Helmsley? Helmsley has not reached out once to at least say thanks for everything, kid. And don't be shocked, Baron Corbin, Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, Tegan Knox, all of them, Braun Strowman, they all said the same thing. When they left WWE, got kicked to the curb, Das Boot. They all said the same thing. We never heard from Helmsley. Not during the process of getting Das Boot. And we haven't heard nothing since. Not even a quick text. Hey, thanks for everything again, Shayna. Hey, thanks for everything, Braun. Hey, thanks for everything, Sonya. Thanks for everything, Shayna. Thanks for everything, Karrion. Nothing. Nothing. This guy supposedly treats his talent better? You can't even talk to him. At least with Vince, you'd get in a line. It may take all day. But you get in a line, he'll eventually see you. If it's that important. Like, oh, I don't know. You're leaving the company. I love what Karrion said in this interview. He says he just wishes that everyone there would stop being so weird. That is great. Everybody there, I just wish they would stop being so weird. And this was right after the discussion of Helmsley and not even talking to him. Helmsley won't even talk to him. So who do you think that's directed to? Stop being so weird. Weird. Good luck, Karrion, because that's just what Helmsley is. He's a weird dude. And if your name's not Rhea Ripley, he's not going to hug you and coddle you. Whisper sweet nothings into your ears. He's not going to give you the time of day. Karrion has went on to say he's spoken with many major companies, but would like to try and make it work with WWE. He really wants to make it work with WWE. And he has not been contacted by AEW. When Ariel asked him why does he think that is, he thinks it's because a lot of companies still believe that it could be a work. Like a lot of the fans believe. So he's like, yeah, I think a lot of companies, some are not reaching out because they don't want to tamper. And they believe that there's a chance this could be a work. Which, by the way, guys, again, Karrion said, this is not a work. I assure you, I understand with the Seth Rollins thing recently. And R-Truth. And people thinking that's a work. And nobody knows anymore. It's part of the fun of being a wrestling fan. And also is kind of the frustrating part. Because we don't know. But when it's done correctly, it's fun. When there's no reason to it, it's frustrating. Because it's like Seth Rollins. What are you doing? I believe he was banged up. So they took him off the road. He was not injured in that match with LA Knight, no. But I do believe he was banged up. They took him off the road till SummerSlam. But the fact that they're trying to use that as part of the story, see, we worked you. They're not thinking it doesn't make sense. Rollins got knocked out with a BFT and lost the match looking up at the lights. That was part of his plan? He has the briefcase. You could have knocked LA Knight out, pinned him, and still cashed in 2 weeks later at SummerSlam. You have the Goon Squad with you, the Goof Troop, the Vision of the Dumbasses, the Brawns. Braun Breaker could have ran him over backstage with a monster truck. Bronson Reed drags him to the middle of the ring, and Seth cashes in without lifting a finger. He didn't have to get knocked out with a BFT. Doesn't make sense. We just want to say things are a work and go, wow, we got worked, and that was a cool work. Without thinking, hey, it doesn't make sense, right? Karrion Kross, this is a work, they say. What's the work? Who's being worked? It can't be a work because it wouldn't make sense. If they were playing into this beforehand, and while he's doing this thing with Sammy, he's pissed off that the man, in quotes, not Becky Lynch, is holding him down, right? The machine is not going with him. So then the live crowd and the casuals and such and the kids that are dragging their parents out and they just want to yeet and dance and sing with Seth. That's all they want to do. They want to do all their chants, the This Is Awesomes and the Fight Forevers and the You Deserve It's. Right, those fans, you can condition them to see that, oh, Karrion's not happy with the machine. And then all of a sudden when news breaks that his contract expired, everybody's in on it. That's what a proper work is, when everybody's in on it. But when your live crowd, your kids and the parents they're dragging out, when they don't have a clue what's going on, it's just for the online crowd. How's that going to work? What's the payoff? And if that is the case, Karrion would be pissed right now. Do you know what this dude is saying? I want to work it out with WWE. It's frustrating. I'm not necessarily pissed. I want to go back there. I want this to work out. He's giving you details like I don't even talk to Helmsley. I'd like to. So if this was a work, I've said this previously. This would be one of the worst works of all time. Make no sense. But nobody wants to think of that anymore. They just want to... The word work in pro wrestling is like the new cool thing. And wow, we're all being worked for everything. Nobody's asking, does it make sense? John Cena turned face out of nowhere 2 Fridays ago. Oh, we're being worked. He's going to turn back heel at SummerSlam. It doesn't make sense. It's a street fight. He wouldn't have to trick Cody for anything. It's a street fight. Again, run Cody Rhodes over with a monster truck if you want. You wouldn't have to turn babyface the night before. Seth Rollins wouldn't have to get knocked out and lose a match to cash in a briefcase. Nobody wants to ask that. Karrion Kross, this is a work. It's a work, guys. What's the work? He comes back and takes on the machine now? Didn't we just say that about R-Truth? It's a work. It's a work. He's going to come back and take on the machine. How did that work out? Stop. It's not a work. This is Helmsley's WWE. He's clueless and creative. He's clueless with his talent. Everybody is frustrated whether they want to be truthful or not. Everybody is walking on eggshells. And I agree with Kross's statement. Everybody in WWE's got to stop being so weird. That's a quote from Karrion. But he would like to try to work it out with WWE. But no, AEW has not reached out yet. Because they still don't know. Is it a work? That's what fans are saying. Meanwhile, Kross is like, I don't know how many ways I can tell you this. This is legit. I have no reason to work anybody. There's no work to be had. What's the most we can do with this? I come back extra pissed off at Helmsley? Oh, I want Sammy again. Oh, I'm back and I'm more furious than ever. The dude's beat you with a haluva kick each time. Even Kross said if he could redo SummerSlam, he would have made it more vivid. He doesn't mind losing to the babyface, even though that would have been twice when Kross really needs a W. But Kross is like, I got no problem with that. My problem is, what he's basically saying is, they didn't protect me in defeat. Like, at least make me look badass. He's like, let me fall from something way up high, right? He's like, just have me imploded. But the simplicity of it was clearly to damage Karrion Kross while trying to elevate Samuel Zayn. And that never works. When you try to elevate someone from tearing another down, it won't work. A benefit cannot be consumed from a detriment. Not accurately, anyway. So that's the latest on the Karrion Kross situation. Again, WWE took back their offer within 24 hours because Kross was just asking for more information. Ariel brought up a good point. Does Karrion think that WWE just put a whack ball offer out there, hoping that Kross and Scarlett would turn it down? Kross doesn't know. In fact, I'll take it a step further. Scarlett was never even offered a contract. So take her out of that equation. Karrion Kross admitted that Scarlett was not even offered a new contract. And that one of the last things he had heard is, we'll take care of you first and then we'll think about Scarlett. So there was no guarantee that they were even going to re-sign Scarlett. And that is absolute negligence with your talent. And it goes to what we've talked about for so long with so many different power couples. Hunter Hearst Helmsley looks at Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and it's everything he wanted with him and Stephanie. And that WrestleMania entrance from years ago, and Stephanie is like this, supposed to be this badass queen, and all of a sudden from the throne is this king of kings. But Scarlett, we know, can play that so much better. It's natural. And Helmsley knows he can't do this wrestling thing anymore, and he's got the gimmick in the chest, and he looks at Karrion, and he looks at Scarlett, and he's like, I gotta go with my smaller dudes, man. I gotta go. Where's John Gargano? Somebody give me How to Train Your Dragon Ball Z Lee. It's like he doesn't want to push these dudes that he's kind of once saw himself, or maybe now sees himself in, but knows he can't do it. So there's this weird dynamic. It's like jealousy, some envy, some frustration. Drew McIntyre is another dude. The booking of Drew McIntyre is just a massive botch. He never has any direction. You think because he's in a match with Jelly Roll, that's supposed to do any... Who's talking about Drew going into SummerSlam or coming out? Nobody. Dudes with muscles, period. Helmsley does not like to push traditionally. Austin Theory's another one. Theory was never an H guy. Remember when Vince needed talent from NXT? Twice, Theory was thrown over to Vince. He could not get rid of Austin Theory fast enough. The first time it failed, there wasn't really a crowd reaction after a couple of months. So Vince kicked him back to NXT. After a few more months of not even being on NXT, but he was down there, Helmsley's like, take him back. And now you don't even know. Austin Theory's just gone. I don't know. There's word of maybe an injury. Grayson Waller's playing around with the New Day. That could not be any more of an odd couple. So if you think creatively, Raw, SmackDown, these pay-per-view seasons, WrestleMania season, SummerSlam, if you think it all just seems like it just sucks right now, well, backstage it ain't much better. And if it's a sloppy shop backstage, that's most likely going to trickle out into the arena and into that ring. Sure enough, that's what we have. Now, Shayna Baszler is also opening up, breaking her silence on WWE deciding to part ways with her after all these years. Baszler had 3 years left on her contract, she confirmed. She had just signed an extension and then was given a full release. So this wasn't a scenario where her contract expired and they just let her go. She was fully released from the company. What that means is, you're fired. Kick to the curb. The ultimate Das Boot. Now, Shayna Baszler admitted she is not working with NXT. There was some word because some people saw her on headset and she was helping some of the talent. She was just there, though, observing. And she happened to help out some talent. She got on headset for like one match. She was allowed to. Shawn Michaels and them let her. And that was it. And people started thinking, oh, she's working for NXT. She is not. And when asked about working for AEW, Shayna Baszler said she is completely open to working for Tony Khan's promotion, citing friendship with Marina Shafir and others. Now, what I would ask with that, though, right, for everybody going, yeah, Shayna should go over to AEW. AEW's got to get Shayna. Now, which version? Because the truth is that WWE has beaten down Shayna Baszler so badly that when we last saw her, I was saying this months before she was fully released, fired. I was saying Shayna Baszler doesn't look like she's in this anymore. Heart, mind, body, soul, all of it just looks like it went back 10, 20, 30 steps. Shayna Baszler, you could see the stress level or the lack of care. That spark was gone. I was saying this months before she was released. Her matches were getting clunky. I mean, if you remember from NXT to when she first started on the main roster, Shayna Baszler was badass. She could go. And then those last several months, Shayna was just like, let's just get this done with. It's almost like she was checked out. Her booking was garbage. Couldn't get a talk with Helmsley. Sound familiar? Ideas were shut down left and right. To the point where she told Ariel she wasn't even surprised. This was not unexpected, this release, even though she had just re-signed for 3 more years. She said it was unexpected because every time they were pitching ideas, they were being shut down. She knew creatively they were pretty much bankrupt. And it was at that moment she knew the company was not supportive or behind her. So the writing was basically on the wall. How sad is that? But that's my question there. The caveat is, if AEW brings her in, which version? Is she going to be refocused? Is she going to have her body back on track? In good shape? Because all of that was out of whack. Go back to the last few months. Everything was starting to check out on Shayna Baszler. So if it's the Baszler of old, okay. But if you're bringing in a shell of what was once the badass Shayna Baszler, no thank you. AEW wouldn't need that. So what version, if AEW brings in Shayna Baszler? Because the version we saw when she got released, it was sad to see that. And I told you guys why you started to see that. It's because WWE had beaten her down so badly. We're so negligent with Shayna Baszler and her character in all directions. So, huge statements by Shayna Baszler, man, confirming the 3-year contract extension and then almost immediately just being told, you're fired. But she will work with AEW. She has no ties right now with WWE at all. Nobody has called her to come back. So it remains to be seen. I don't know if you guys would need to see Shayna Baszler in AEW, and if so, in what scenario? She joining the Riders with Marina? Speaking of, by the way, the ladies in AEW, former AEW Lady Talent Champion Mariah May, Blake Monroe now in NXT. Mariah May was in tears with an emotional post recently. Caught a lot of people off guard. It looked like she was like in a hotel bed and just kind of like all up in her feelings. And she was recording just this post. And again, she was in tears, very emotional about her journey and about all she wanted to do was be a WWE superstar. And I guess how like fans were just mean on social or whatever. She was just really emotional. And I guess fans are giving her a hard time maybe for jumping ship over to WWE. That's all I could be assuming here. But she was in tears that what she says gets misconstrued, that people always twist things around, and they don't understand where she's coming from. Again, in tears. And she's like, wrestling fans can just be so weird sometimes with that stuff. And I'm like, then just step off of the social. I don't understand what it is with these wrestlers to the point where they will go in tears. That's how emotional they are. But they'll stay on these platforms. Get off! You have a life! You have a life! You don't have to be in tears because of social or any platform or any online doohickey machine. I could not fathom how these people can do this 24 hours a day. Checking their phones nonstop. Caring what everybody thinks. Stop! You are now your dream. Your dream was to be a WWE superstar. You got it! Well, BC, they promote themselves. Who cares? Then don't. Undertaker was just fine. Never had any of that stuff. Didn't care. Well, BC, I mean, not everybody's the Undertaker. We'll get to that point then. I don't know what to tell you. But this woman is in tears. Because I guess fans don't like the fact that she jumped ship. And it's the same way when somebody from WWE goes over to AEW and WWE fans are all upset. The cool thing is the talent can just get off. They don't have to hear any of the noise. How cool is that? I think a lot of fans are probably upset too because the company tries to build up somebody like a Jade Cargill and then she just literally at the first chance she gets, she goes over to WWE. AEW, all that they allowed for Jade Cargill, because she still to this day is so green. But Tony Khan gave her the world, put her on the map, and Jade's just like, deuces, ooses, check you. A stepping stone was AEW. And then Mariah May out of nowhere. Tony Khan's like, we're going all out with you. Pun intended. We're going all in on you. Pun intended. And all of a sudden, the first chance she gets, she's like, thanks, Tony. Now, deuces, ooses, check you. Stepping stone was AEW and Mariah. Now you can say, well, BC, do you blame them? I hear you. Jade, I don't think Jade's heart is fully in pro wrestling, period. She already told you she doesn't like the travel and in certain aspects. It sounds like a lot of Brock Lesnar, and that's what took Brock out of pro wrestling for so long. So for Jade, this was a natural progression, right? Let's get to the company that's going to give me the most exposure outside of the ring. For Mariah, she has told you from the jump, her dream was to be a WWE superstar. So I understand there's reasons that they have, and it's their careers. They can absolutely make any decision they want. I'm saying when you put those two, especially together, that's why a lot of fans are like, dude, every time Tony goes to push somebody, their main goal is just to go over to WWE. Where's the loyalty? But maybe Mariah May was just having like a day, right? Maybe she just woke up and she was just all up in her feels. But that's the advice I try to give all of these talents. Get off of all of these social doohickey shits. Just get off. You have lives. You don't need to do that. Get off your phone, period. And again, guys, NXT in the numbers this week for their Tuesday night show, 728K, down from last week's 740. AEW Dynamite, that number has not yet been released. It is early as of this recording. We will be on the lookout for that number. Also, WWE Raw, post SummerSlam, they posted just under 3 million in viewership. Again, Netflix is on a 7-day delay with Raw numbers because they accumulate a full week's worth of numbers. So that came in just under 3 mil. That is up from the week previous, the go-home show to SummerSlam's 2.7 some odd. So approximately 200,000 viewers were added on to see the aftermath of SummerSlam. We expect that to go right back down to the 2.5 to 2.7 average. For the next Raw number, we'll be getting that in a couple of days. And we can come to that assumption safely because SmackDown, just days later, the post-SmackDown for SummerSlam, pulled a 1.5 some odd. That is the same number that they pulled the week previous. No real jump. So that's how fast everybody tuned right back out. It's like SummerSlam never even happened. With that said, until next time, and there will be that next time, 44 dive, that's a wrap. BC saying check you, unit, salute.